last time I saw Paris, her heart was warm and gay. I heard the...
Greetings from Castle Goring, from Mickey, Aurora, and from me. Oh, well. Summers Iddle says, some of these names are just too divine. Wasn't Pier Paolo Piccolini the replacement to assure the public that Balenciaga was moving past the teddy bear debacle? So they use La Harkle, love it, for publicity? Surely there was some other way to get the popular press. No, there was no other way to get the publicity that they have got. Whatever you can say about Meghan Markle, she is now so loathed in so many quarters that when she shows up expecting approbation and gets condemnation, the press are ready and waiting to report on it. Had Balenciaga got Anne Hathaway there, you wouldn't have had the publicity that has happened. There wouldn't have been the attention. Meghan may not be able to shift jam and wine, but what she can certainly shift is attention. And thanks to the brilliant, in my opinion, choice of having her at the show in Paris and having her dressed the way she was, they were assured that everybody would know that Demna was no longer affiliated with Balenciaga. He has actually moved to Gucci, and that Pier Paolo would now be the designer. So does that make sense to you? I mean, it makes absolute sense to me. Because she has, by her presence, she assured them that everybody would, in the process of speaking about her bizarre behaviour, and I mean, there's little doubt that they prepared her in such a way that she would be extremely striking, but also they will have understood that Meghan was going to cooperate with them to get maximum attention for herself, which would give them maximum attention. And they most likely didn't even think that she would be so typically Meghanian that she would actually go to the lengths of photographing herself by the Quai d'Orsay, right by the Pont Alexandre III bridge, and that this would be noticed by people. I mean, that is what in Jamaica they call brata, the extra bit, that nobody will have necessarily calculated upon. They might have hoped that Meghan would do one of her normally tasteless antics, you know. In New York, when she was doing the Hertz thing, it was the 2 hour car chase at 80 and 90 miles an hour around the Times Square area where nobody can ever go more than 3 miles an hour, if that. And this time it was the, look at me, I'm so fabulous. I can cock my feet up on a chauffeur-driven car. And that means I don't have on a seatbelt. And it's a total accident that it's just by the bridge and the underpass where H's his mom died. Clever of me, isn't it? Well, they can't have calculated for that, but that, of course, has made the story explode even more than it would have exploded. But let's not forget that Balenciaga was really very clever, because they knew that Meghan would attract a lot of attention. And in the process of everybody speaking about it, those who had sufficient knowledge of the scene would report that Per Paolo Piccolini had replaced Demna. So, sorry, it's worth every penny they've paid her. It's worth every penny, because she has given them more publicity than they could ever have imagined. And this is one case where all publicity is good publicity where Balenciaga is concerned. It's not where Meghan is concerned, but it's certainly all publicity is good publicity where Balenciaga is concerned. So there's no way they could have got, they being Balenciaga, that degree of attention except with Meghan. She's worth the money if you want attention. Sorry. It's the truth. Janet Black says, I cannot believe Meghan Markle thought her Paris stunt rescued her reputation. Well, Janet Black, I'm afraid, in a way, it did. Sorry. It's just not converted into approbation. It's not converted into popularity. It's not converted into admiration. Yet again, Meghan has antagonized. Meghan, I have to tell you, displays such off-kilter behavior that it does lead one to believe, just off her off-kilter behavior, that she really is sociopathic. Sociopaths, usually, everything is, when you get to know them well, things are slightly off. They may do everything the way they ought to, and it may take you a while to figure out. But once you figure it out, you notice things are slightly off. So the stunt, though, has rescued her reputation, because it's shown that if you want attention, all you need to do is hire Meghan. The problem is how many corporations or companies or institutions or people are going to find themselves in the position that Balenciaga was. Because Balenciaga didn't only need to revamp its image by showing that it had left the teddy bear child really pornography behind, but that it has that it has a totally new creative director. So no, it has confirmed that she is a magnet for publicity. And the problem there is that, and this is causing a difficulty for Meghan, socially and personally as well as professionally, that she is such a magnet for publicity that she will overshadow anyone and any cause, and that in itself becomes a problem, because unless the cause wishes to attach itself to Meghan for recognition, she is going to swamp them. Nobody wants to be swamped. There's a very good reason why people don't want Meghan around. Aside from the aspects of if they have her around and they're chummy with her, the rest of the royals don't want to have anything to do with them. There's also the fact that if you ask Meghan to your wedding, she's guaranteed to suck the oxygen of attention out of the room, and she becomes the focal point. This is a problem for Meghan because she has developed the art and the knack and this of garnering attention for herself, but it's not followed by popularity, by respect, as has been proven by the failure of Was Never. And Ted Sarandos can say till he's blue in the face that Meghan is a far more influential personality than she's given credit for being. She's not. What she is somebody who, for whatever reason, and I will go into the reasons in a second, has the ability to garner a great deal of attention for herself. My mother had it as well. Meghan simply has it on a larger scale because Meghan has sought the attention. My mother sought the attention as well. Very narcissistic people, especially if they have sociopathic and Machiavellian tendencies, are geniuses at having direction or all attention directed at them. If they're reasonably subtle about it, it may take part of the evening or part of the occasion for the attention to swing their way. But invariably it does. So, but Meghan, of course, has worked at this, as did Diana and as did Elizabeth Taylor. Sorry. But what Meghan did in Paris showed, and I'm now going to go back to my William business. Meghan shows that she has absolute contempt for the ordinary decencies, for the ordinary civilities that go along with civilized conduct. Her behavior was bizarre from beginning to end, which is why it garners such attention. First of all, Givenchy was clever. They dressed her in that very striking white outfit. Oh, by the way, has anybody found the Castle Goring linen yet? Because it's missing. No sheets anywhere. So, to return to the point I'm making. They knew what to do because all these designers, if they're any good, know what to do. Good designers are impact specialists. The original Balenciaga, Cristobal Balenciaga, was an impact specialist with superb taste. Times have changed, but all the couturiers have items in their shows which they don't expect to sell, but the press will comment upon, and the object of the exercise is to shift perfume, to be crude about it all, and body lotion. That's the object of the exercise. That's what the fashion shows themselves are all about. The couture arms of the couture houses lose money. The perfume and luxury end of the market, the scarves, etc., those are what make money. So, but she also, her behavior is so bizarre. You know, the Zoolander walk, the guffawing when a model evidently slightly stumbled. And Meghan wasn't the only person who reacted. Somebody 2 or 3 seats down from her reacted, but not with amusement. While Meghan is so funny. Lord Guthrie, you fell off your horse. I wonder if you're dead. It's so funny. Oh, and little Charlotte, she's just hurt herself on the balcony. That's so funny too. Oh, yes. Guffawing. But it was the posting of the pictures at the Pont Alexandre III that has really got people. And I'm told, and I'm going to quote, Meghan knew exactly what she was doing. If she'd wanted to post an innocent photo of a night out in Paris, she could have photographed the Eiffel Tower or the Arc de Triomphe, which point I made earlier. But she chose to evoke Diana's last night and Diana's death in a ghoulish cosplay. People close to William are describing her as a psycho who has no respect for the ordinary decencies. It's one thing to pretend that you're for change and that you're anti-tradition, but quite another to display open contempt for even basic good manners and common or garden consideration as practiced by even the most deprived of people or anywhere in the world who have dignity and decency. Of course, there's the business of her putting up her feet on the car seat. Now, no lady puts her feet on the seat of a hire car, certainly not with shoes on. And if she's going to do it, which I've never seen anybody do, she'd at least have the grace to take off her shoes. I mean, your shoes can nick the leather or scratch the leather. I mean, what sort of crass individual behaves like that? It's unbelievable. I'm told that if Meghan did what she did deliberately, which everyone thinks she did, it's dreadful. But if she did it thoughtlessly, in some ways, that's even worse, because it shows she's so cold, callous, and uncaring that the thought didn't even occur to her that she was going to indubitably be offensive. But no one believes that she did it thoughtlessly. Meghan has shown everyone over the years that she is very calculated and focused. She sets out to outrage, and she succeeds at outraging. Now, this is a new one because for whatever reason, everybody seems to have missed the fact that Meghan deliberately sets out to outrage people, to cause offense. I'm told there is something truly stomach-churning in Meghan's absolute ruthlessness. William would like nothing better than for her to disappear. So maybe Meghan isn't the only person crossing fingers. Says I being naughty. That is me being naughty. That's not what I was told. I'm being naughty. But of course, I'm told the one thing Meghan won't do is disappear. She plainly intends to remain a thorn in William's side, prodding and poking in every way she can. And I am told that they are all now alert to the fact that Meghan is going to continue to use William's mother's turbulent life and tragic death to inflict as much damage as she can on him and Harry, while she garners as much attention for herself, outraging people with her outrageous behaviour, but getting column inches. And what's interesting is that they think that Meghan doesn't only have William in her sights, she has Harry in her sights. But to what extent is that actually right? Because one of the important issues that has come up with all of this is that William, of course, remembers his mother very clearly. William had a much stronger relationship with his mother than Harry did. Diana involved William in her, shall we say, conflicts in a way that she didn't involve Harry. William was settled, William was intelligent, William was more sedate, William was more sympathetic and sympathetic. Harry was too volatile and, quite frankly, too dumb to be a reliable source of comfort. So Harry has no real emotional investment in Diana, ironically enough. Harry doesn't remember his mother by his own account. And Harry is, with Meghan's guidance, creating a relationship with Diana that he never had and can never have. But William had the genuine relationship. And so when Meghan does the dirty with using Diana, it genuinely upsets William. It doesn't genuinely upset Harry, because Harry is not and never was that engaged emotionally, and still isn't and can never be, because A, he didn't have the relationship with Diana, and B, he doesn't have the depth of feeling or the sensitivity that William has. I'm told that Meghan is now regarded as the embodiment of evil, and that nobody is anything but sickened by her posing behind a mask of innocence and entitlement. The word truly gross, I should say the words truly gross. One of the most dreadful people anybody has ever met. Gross beyond imagination and endurance were words that were used to describe sweet, dear Megsy baby. Shoes on the leather seat, clearly no seat belt on, otherwise she wouldn't have been able to get her feet there. Now, wasn't it Diana, Princess of Wales, whose cause of death was actually a torn pulmonary vein, in the immediate cause of which was the accident, but the other cause of which was, had she had on her seatbelt, she would not have had the torn pulmonary vein and she would have survived. So, do you see the diabolic nature of this? I was also told that the question is being asked, when is this going to end? Will it ever end? I mean, there are times, and this has been one, and I know this from my experience with my mother, there are times when you are taken on such an emotional roller coaster by the antics of people like that, that, I mean, you are catapulted to the depths, because you can't believe that any human being attached to you in any way, shape, or form could behave like this. I get it. I've been there. I know what it's like. The person I spoke to said, how much more of this twisting in of the knife does William have to endure? It's truly awful. Can you imagine capitalizing upon the tragic death of anyone's mother? Meghan knew. She had to know. She's media savvy. She knew the press and public would make the link between her gross behavior and Diana's death. One or two people have mooted that she was drunk. Well, if she was drunk, that's still no excuse. No one with a heart or conscience behaves like that. Meghan has shown her true colours yet again, that she's heartless, unscrupulous, unconscionable. And then what does she do? She and Harry, they spin around and make out that she's the victim, that, oh, initially there was great press, then the British press criticised me. The British press criticised her, and all of a sudden they've victimised her. I didn't know I was near the tunnel. I was simply posting an innocent picture. I'm innocent. all the meanies attributing base motives to my innocent actions. I was merely celebrating life in Paris. I love Paris. You know, I lived in Paris. Well, I didn't really, but I can pretend I did. I'm a great humanitarian. The proof is the award, Humanitarian of the Year. I was told every innocent celebration of life is twisted, according to Meghan, by the mean royal family and the mean press into something it wasn't meant to be. But what's really interesting is that Plum Sykes, speaking to her brother Tom on his really rather desirable and entertaining and very well sourced and well worth looking at Substack, The Royalist. Plum said that, and she made a really important point, that the night of the before Meghan posted that picture of herself and the clip of herself, I should say, traveling past the Pont Alexandre III, everybody in Paris was agog, not with the Balenciaga show, but with the Dior show. It's once Meghan arrived, strutted her stuff, and then posted that clip that she absolutely washed away all mention of Dior. There's also, as Plum pointed out, great rivalry between the company that owns Dior and the company that owns Balenciaga. Bernard Arnault of LVMH, which was originally Louis Vuitton Moet Hennessy. They own Louis Vuitton, Tiffany, Moet, Chandon, Hennessy, Guerlain, remember Guerlain? Where poor old Monsieur Guerlain is being subjected to the most tremendous elder abuse that it is possible for any human being to be subjected to. And nothing's happening. Nothing. Notwithstanding the fact that the courts are involved. And I got in touch with Bernard Arnault about this, completely washed his hands of it. But, so that's Bernard Arnault. Then you have François-Henri Pinault, who is married to Salma Hayek, the actress. She is actually Lebanese, born in Mexico. And in fact, she's been married to Pinault since 2009. They have a daughter. And in 2014, Pinault backed a film that she helped to produce called Khalil Gibran's The Prophet. Now, I know a little bit about that because my father's cousin, May Ziadi, I was born a Ziadi, is the one who actually promoted Khalil Gibran's career, and his talent helped to make him the tremendous success that he was. But if it had not been for Majesty, there is no way he would have ever seen the light of day. And there was a very good book written called Blue Flame, The Love Letters of Khalil Gibran with Majesty by Mary Haskell. I've got it downstairs somewhere. I just throw that in for good measure. But the point I'm really making is that Pinot owns Balenciaga, Gucci, Saint Laurent, Bottega Veneta, Creed, and Alexander McQueen. But LVMH is much bigger than Kering, which is the overall company that is our Pinot's company. So there's LVMH, Arnaud, and Pinot Kering. And I'll quote some figures. LVMH's revenue in 2023 was $93.7 billion, while Kering's was $21 billion. So LVMH is much bigger. Did Monsieur Pinot realize that by having Meghan, he would inevitably swamp Dior, because everybody suspected that Dior was going to have a firecracker of a show, which it did. It also has to be said that Balenciaga's show was actually pretty good as well. But nobody's speaking about Dior now. Everybody's speaking about Balenciaga. Do you see where it was actual masterful public relations to have Meghan? But I'm told that William isn't 100% sure that Harry has been going along with all of this. And I have actually said before that Thomas Markle Sr. told me that when he was still speaking to Meghan, or well, when she was still speaking to him, and in the run-up to the wedding, and remember, she and Harry were together for about a year and a half before they got married. And she was in close touch with her father. And whenever Harry was in the room, she was sweetness and light itself. And obviously the victim. When Harry, because Harry's the big protector, Sir Galahad. Well, when Harry wasn't in the room, you got Tuffy Meghan. And, well, Thomas Markle Sr. got Tuffy Meghan. So it is quite possible that Harry is having the wool pulled over his eyes. Not totally, but to an extent. But as far, I am told, as William is concerned, Harry has an absolute duty to stop this emotional terrorism, quote unquote. And either he has contributed to it, which he has to an extent, but only to a limited extent that is provable, or then he has done nothing to stop it. He has not pressurized Meghan to get amid scabies to deny the accusations about Charles and Catherine being racist. And William is aware of the fact that Harry knows he won't have to pay the emotional price that William inevitably does, because remember, Harry doesn't remember his mother. He said it. William does. I'm also told that William has been left by all of this wondering whether Harry ever really loved any of them. This is evidently a question that has arisen before, but this is confirmation that it's a question well worth asking, and the answer might well be a two-letter word beginning with N. Did Harry ever love any of them? Not only William and their father, but also their mother and their grandparents and Catherine. Can anyone, and I'm now quoting, can anyone who has behaved as callously as he has done have ever really loved any of the people who thought he loved them? Let's remember he accused his dying grandfather of faking the possibility of his death to prevent the broadcast of the Oprah interview. He knew his grandmother was dying, yet refused to see her except for the one occasion for the photo op with Lily. While making that awful television series in which he rubbished the Commonwealth and Meghan rubbished the late Queen right in front of him with the dive. And neither he nor Meghan cared one jot that the Queen might still have been alive to see his betrayal of her, her life's work, her legacy, the honour she endowed him with, and Meghan by making them president and vice president of the Commonwealth Trust. And of course of her legacy, the Commonwealth. Remember? Getting their cohorts, and let's remember, Meghan and Harry produced that series. So they have absolute responsibility for the content. Remember, getting that supposed historian to accuse the Commonwealth of being Empire 2.0, and that it was really a racket for rich white people in Britain to steal the natural resources of poor black people in Africa. I'm told that the way Harry has abused everybody, William feels that Harry is no longer anyone he recognizes. He's crossed over to the other side. He's using and allowing Meghan to use Diana as a weapon. And that is unforgivable because Diana is a reality to William. She's not a reality to Harry. And she's certainly no reality to Meghan because Meghan never met her. Meghan had nothing to do with her. Meghan, of course, cosplays her for all it's worth. But and let's remember, I'll repeat what people who know Harry well and have known him well. I'm speaking about courtiers as well as relations. Harry was always looking for a way out. Harry wanted to divest himself of any responsibility that he didn't want to be bothered with. Harry wanted to show up for the jollies, and the rest of the time he wanted to chill and be stoned. And these are the people who were nominated for an award as Humanitarians of the Year. You really have to laugh because it sure beats crying. And on that note, I'd say thank you very much for listening. I hope this has been of some interest to you. Any questions that you find desirable for me to answer, please put them in the comments. Okay, thank you so much. Take good care. And if you have truly enjoyed this, please like, share, subscribe, press the notification bell. It evidently makes a difference. Thank you. Godspeed. Bye-bye.